who is Tatsuki Fujimoto for me? Well, I feel like I wouldn't do justice to the admiration I have for this man if all I had to say was he's my favorite mangaka. After all, he's the one who gifted humanity Togata and Kobeni's car. There is much more that connects me with this guy actually, since he's only a few years older than me. A boy. So I spent the last few days catching up on his older works. I'm the type of person who saves the best for last. And I don't regret it at all, because even in his earlier and rougher stories, traces of his genius that would later take a more refined shape can be found. A constant with Fuji's one-shots and series is the choice of themes, which he decides to incorporate inside of his narration. Besides treating these topics with a specific sense of humor, his weirdness and tendency to absurdism, and much more, I haven't just fallen in love with how he decides to tell his ideas, a style that cannot be mistaken. I also fell in love with what he tells. Despite his ways that sometimes go over the top, Fuji's themes are of disarming humanity. Love, family, depression, identity, that he expresses in both an exploding manner and very subliminally, with high chances of missing his point most of the times. And I believe this way Fujimoto has also been selective about his audience, looking beneath the surface, leaving room for imagination. The way he draws eyes, I love this the most about him. I love that he's the voice of our generation, a modern and young mind, only at the beginning of his career. Someone who, I've said it once already, will win the Nobel Prize for Literature. I resonate at a very intimate level with his stories, especially with episodes that have really happened in my life, like someone ringing the doorbell, spamming it, with a devastating truth behind it. Should we have opened the door? I relate to the loss of the everyday life, to the meaning a pet can hold, to depression, and at the same time the rediscovery of the will to live. No matter how cold the world is. I resonate with all of this, and I'm sure you do too, some way or another. It's just crazy that I found real-life situations translated so literally in someone's work. Someone who's on the other side of the planet. Even the envy for someone way better than me, that I just could not surpass. Someone I studied and observed. I lost him at the end. Fuji has been through a lot. We all have something in common with him, and I think it's pain. But also happiness, the need to find strength to look beyond the dark and see positivity in life. I spent most of my time crying while making the Chainsaw Man documentary, because during the process I received a life-changing news, a bad one. And also because of the fact that I was reading parts of my life when looking at some panels in the manga. I'll be making a Fire Punch documentary too before summer, and I already know it will be tough. If you were to ever ask me what makes my videos different from the rest on YouTube, I'd say it's the feelings I put in them. For better or for worse, and only some works allow me to do so. To be myself. Depression has been the enemy of my life for the last years, but reading has also helped a ton. Fuji has helped a ton. I look forward to Tuesdays when a new Chainsaw Man chapter is supposed to come out. I love sharing my love for these stories. I love imagining and also being brought back to reality by some scenes. I love the thin line between fiction and fantasy. Finding the will to live in a cold world with apparently nothing left for you. To some people, what I'm saying is laughable, but For me, it's very important. Having to enjoy life while it lasts. I can't believe Goodbye Harry depicts this so well. But also wanting to touch some boobs. Come on, let's be real, Denji's just like me. I can't help but feel connected to this artist. And mine is not blind fanaticism or idolism. And even if it were, I really couldn't care less of what people say to me. Because there is humanity in Fuji's stories. There is just so much heart, even when it looks like it lacks brain, because of how silly they can be. I mean, Fire Punch is from the outside just a guy on fire who punches people. And Chainsaw Man has Denji who grows chainsaws on his body. But that's their appeal. Fujimoto rewards those who dare get into such weird concepts. Everything is absurd in his stories. But isn't life absurd? You'd better believe in it, because it'll happen when you least expect it. Both the good absurd and the bad one. Fujimoto asks us to remember even the beauty along with the dark of the past. And I'm someone who thinks a lot about what's or who's no more. I struggle to balance the good things and the bad ones. But sometimes, something as simple as reading reminds me that I have to appreciate life, to sprinkle a bit of fantasy on it, to keep moving forward and notice the little things, to not let go of my sensitivity, that opening that door was something I had to do. There is no such thing as a dream life. It's only normal. There needs to be love, appreciation for each other, even beyond gender. We need to give everything a chance, to have real power and bother even with the minuscule percentages of success, and not pretend they're 0% instead. Where am I getting at? Don't lose the power of your imagination. Try to levitate. Sing for your favorite food and drink. Who cares? Sketch something while having a fever and see how it turns out. Live. This is who Fuji is to me. An inspiration. Someone who's being himself and it's paying off. Doing what he likes with dedication and sharing it with everybody. I'm excited for his future because Tatsuki Fujimoto is a friend. One of us. That weird friend who's also somehow very sensitive and tweets random stuff. And you know what? I just wanna go to the cinema with him and watch trash movies for an entire day. Those so bad that they're good. And sometimes that's just how life goes.